You know, when most of us think about our home's value, we usually just ask one question: what can I sell it for? But what if I told you that's only half the story? There's another, much more powerful way to look at your property, a way that treats it like a true financial asset. This can completely change how you decide to sell, rent, or even refinance. So let's dive in and start thinking like a professional investor.
So let me ask you this, straight up. Do you really know what your property is worth based on the money it could be making for you every single month? Seriously, answering this one question can unlock a whole new financial perspective for you.
And this brings us to a really crucial distinction. Are we just talking about the sticker price you could slap on a for sale sign, or are we talking about its long-term financial potential? Believe me, they are not the same thing, and knowing the difference is absolutely key.
The good news is, you don't have to just guess. There is a systematic, proven way to figure all this out, and it's the exact same method the certified real estate pros use. We're about to pull back the curtain and show you how it's done.
You see, when the experts have to determine a property's value, they don't just pick a number out of thin air. They rely on standardized, formal methodologies. Let's take a quick look at what's in their professional toolkit.
And I want to be clear, this isn't just some random opinion or secret trick. We're talking about official, recognized competency standards for real estate professionals. Real valuation is a science, not a hunch.
Okay, so the pros basically use three core methods. First, there's the market approach, which is what we're all familiar with. It just looks at what similar houses have sold for. Then you've got the cost approach, which calculates what it would cost to rebuild the whole thing from scratch. But the one we're going to focus on today, the one that treats your home like a business, is the income approach.
Yeah, we're going to zero in on that income approach, which is also known as income capitalization. This is the method that truly lets you see your property for what it can be, an investment engine.
So what is this method exactly? How does it actually work? Well, it sounds complicated, but it's actually way more straightforward than you think, and it's incredibly powerful.
Here's the core idea in a nutshell. The income capitalization approach figures out a property's value based entirely on its ability to make money through rent. It answers the one question every investor asks: if this thing is an investment, what's it actually worth based on its returns?
Okay, so that probably leads you to the next logical question, right? How in the world do you get from a monthly rent check to a final estimated sale price? There's got to be a bridge between those two numbers.
Well, there is. The secret ingredient is something called a variation factor. Just think of it like a magic number for a specific neighborhood that directly translates rental income into market value. It's the key that connects what a property earns to what it's ultimately worth.
And now we get to the best part. You don't have to be a certified appraiser with years of training to use this logic. You can run your own analysis, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it with a simple process you can set up right in a spreadsheet.
The process is super straightforward. First, you just do a little online detective work. Find a few similar properties for sale and for rent right in your area. Second, you just plug those numbers into your spreadsheet. Third, you add the potential rent for your own property, and that's it. The spreadsheet does all the heavy lifting, calculating that all-important variation factor for your specific market. And boom, just like that, you have a data-driven estimate of your property's true investment value.
So when you do all that, what you've just done isn't some simple little trick. By following that process, you are actually engaging in something much, much bigger.
That's right. This is applied data science. You're taking raw market data, sale prices, rental rates, and you're processing it through a model to get a real actionable insight. This is a fundamental shift in how you can think about property value. And that's the real takeaway here. The days of just relying on gut feelings or what a neighbor told you they sold their house for are over. You now have a framework, a real tool based on real numbers to make smart, informed decisions.
So, I'll just leave you with this final question. Now that you know how to look at value based on potential income, not just what the house next door sold for, what new possibilities does that open up for you? Would you rent? Would you sell? Or maybe, just maybe, you'll start looking for your next investment with a brand new, much sharper perspective.